Do you know what we're here for?
The equal parts. Oh my gosh.
Here we go.
Don't be creepy.
Not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture.
Consequences.
That's hot.
Right now.
I made a huge tiny mistake.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
A what now?
Oh, never occurred to me.
Interesting.
Just crazy enough to work.
Yeah.
He looks good, and he looks hard.
Jesus, I say that.
There's no point in you betraying your future self to gratify your present self. It's a stupid game.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
a huge, tiny mistake.
What now?
Would you drum up?
Thanks, Jeff, for the question.
Right now. Consequences.
That's hot.
So hot right now. Phrasing.
Blue Space Peeps.
I see that you know your judo well.
That's too much, man! You supercalifragilisticexpialidocious bitch!
I mean, this woman is dangerous, ladies and gentlemen.
Close it up, just like my wife's vagina.
This is from 12 Minutes for Life.
So hot right now.
It's a great day for being sad.
Illegal.
Immediately, if not sooner. Facebook, Zuckerbucks. I did everything right and they indicted me.
Jesus, I say that.
Donald Trump spent a lot of quality time with my wife.
Don't be creepy.
Well, here we are again.
long since we've seen one another. Which means we have a hell of a lot to talk about today. So we better get right to it. Don't forget to buckle up those seatbelts, spacemans, as this flight through the abyss may incur some amount of turbulence. Both expected and unexpected. Okay, let's see who's in the chat. Mono Whip, Megastar, NPB123 in the YouTube. Narwhal of Glosworth. MW. Let's see. Who else is Schmegley? I see a Schmegley. Jonathan. Oh my god, I'm on top chat. This is tragic. Something must be done. Look, Bovine, I see you, and Germ. If I missed you in chat, well, that's probably because I was on top chat, and YouTube is suppressing us.
Help! Help! I'm being repressed!
I need to release my medical records. I'm staying in the race.
I'm staying in the race.
Alright. We can get straight into it here. United States, as usual, is gonna start it off for us. Might be a few in here, I think, to maybe carryovers from Sunday Funday. I can't be sure. I was planning on doing one yesterday, but well, that's what happens sometimes. What's that goddamn sound? Anybody else hearing the crackling? Is it just me who's hearing the insane crackling that's happening? Yeah. There we go. What was I saying? Ah, yes. United States is gonna start us off here tonight. Let's go to, what is this? Boston. Yes. Oh, this isn't a Boston. I believe this is a suburb in Massachusetts somewhere. BC 10.
Political views in Hanson may end up costing that town taxpayer dollars. At least 2 nights in a row, resident has been projecting an image of a political sign onto the town's municipal water tower.
Officials say this violates the town's bylaws. NBC 10's Aaron Logan is live in Hanson. Aaron, is this sign being projected on that tower again tonight?
Well, Glenn and Priscilla, here's the situation. We're told from neighbors that the last 2 nights, or actually the last night, it was not on. It just started to get dark, though, tonight, as you can see. But the sign was being projected from the home behind me. There's a projector set up, and it was big and bold saying Trump 2024. But the last 2 nights, you can see these lights have been put here to dim that display. Hanson officials taking that step, saying this sign is misleading and they do not allow any political endorsements on municipal property. They did make it clear, though, that they respect free speech rights of all residents. Neighbors say this tower has sparked a lot of attention. Some want this all to go away. Displaying signs on your property, they say, is more than enough. Officials say they have no issue with the sign, or others say, rather, they have no issue with this sign, but this has all just gone too far. The town says a lot of taxpayer dollars may be spent, including attorney fees, paying the highway department workers overtime to turn this spotlight on and off each day, and potentially more money should stronger lighting be needed if this continues.
I mean, it's going the wrong way. I mean, you shouldn't tie up police and other resources for something like that, but at the same point, it is America. You can say whatever you want. But at the same time, like...
This guy is so conflicted. It is hilarious to watch him try and work this all out. Yes, I think the reaction you're originally having is one of frustration with this individual who is doing something completely unnecessary and selfish. My guess is this guy is also a Trump supporter from the way he's talking. And I could be wrong. I could be entirely wrong on that estimation. But, you know, it's a completely selfish act that is causing taxpayer dollars to be wasted. So that it doesn't seem like the town, like a town government is supporting Trump because this asshole bought a, not this asshole, I'm saying this asshole in question with the laser, went to Amazon and decided to buy a laser projector.
I mean, it's going the wrong way. I mean, you shouldn't tie up police and other resources for something like that. But at the same point, it is America. You can say whatever you want. But at the same time, like I said, come Christmas time, there's Christmas lights around the top of the thing. Nobody.
Oh, yeah. Wow, Christmas lights are on top of it every Christmas. Well, maybe we should take the Christmas lights down too, not gonna lie. Although that's much less of a, even though there is clearly a First Amendment problem there, with the Christmas lights, it's much more stark when it becomes a political statement, right? It's wild. I don't even see how this is happening.
But at the same time, like I said, come Christmas time, there's Christmas lights around the top of the thing. Nobody had anything to say about that.
Now, we tried to talk to the homeowner who was projecting this sign, and he did not want to speak to us. The town plans on issuing him a $100 fine should this continue, and they're working on a cease and desist order. Again, these lights are being put on right now, but it's unclear if he is actually projecting that image tonight. But a lot of people...
This is so dumb. Jesus Christ. Just buy a yard sign. Just buy a yard sign. Stop being an idiot. Trump wasn't fit to be president in 2016 either. Did somebody say anything about... I don't even remember us talking about Trump's fitness. I don't think we got there yet, did we? But, good segue. Speaking of Donald Trump and his fitness to be president, here is Donald Trump riffing on things from a few days ago.
He's a very nice man. But here are the facts. Kamala Harris is a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than Bernie Sanders, and even worse than Pocahontas. Do you know Pocahontas? Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren, remember?
Wow. First off, there's no real evidence to show that Kamala Harris is anywhere near that far left. But it does seem to be, at least some people seem to believe. I'm not sure everybody seems to be buying into this in Donald's audience here, but this whole Pocahontas thing, I thought this was dead. I genuinely thought this was done. Rated worse? Are you questioning who's doing the which ratings agency is doing these ratings? I don't know. I assume it's like a OAN or like a Real America Voice sort of rating.
Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren, remember? She said, "I'm Indian." Everyone said, "Well, do you have any proof?" "No, my mother said that I had high cheekbones." That's what she said. That's what she said.
Illegal.
So I came up with the name Pocahontas, and it drove her crazy, and so she went out and got a blood test, right? Remember what the number was? 1,024th. Oh, this guy's good. 1,024th. That means essentially that I have more Indian blood in me than she has, and I have none, unfortunately. I'd like to have some. I'd be honored to have some, but I have none. She thought it was so good that she had, 1,024th. It's like not even possible. It's not possible. And she was happy. She was so happy that she released the number. She thought it was good. And that was the end of her political career. She was leading in the presidential race back then. That was the Biden race. And you know where Kamala was? She had dropped out. She was dead last. She dropped.
All right. Now, Before we get too far, the fact is that if you look into it at all, the 1 and 1024th was the very bottom of the estimate because the DNA results aren't perfect. It was between 164th, which would mean that she had a great, would have been I think a great grandparent who would have been full Indian potential, Native American, excuse me. But it's not clear. It's not clear. But of course, Donald Trump is going to, as always, cherry pick figures to make them sound, in ways that he wants them to sound. I don't personally have any sort of, what do you call it? Interest in defending Elizabeth Warren's Native Americanness, if you will, but Donald Trump is kind of forcing me to at least correct him on this particular figure he's touting.
Happy that she released the number. She thought it was good, and that was the end of her political career. She was leading in the presidential race back then. That was the Biden race. And you know where Kamala was? She had dropped out. She was dead last. She dropped out. She never made Iowa. And do I love Iowa? I love Iowa. I love corn. I love Iowa. No, Iowa's great. We have a big lead in Iowa.
Does he know where he
never
is?
Lost in Iowa.
Why is he? I'm sorry. Does he think he's in Iowa right now? Because as you can see here, he is in Reading. Is it Reading or Reading? Whatever it is. Pennsylvania. So Don, he might not know where he is. It's never clear.
We had a great, many years. What was it, 36 years? Nobody won Pennsylvania. And then Trump came along and we won Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. There he goes. So wait a second.
And I'll tell you, there's
I'm not
more
in Iowa.
spirit now than I've ever seen. I'm talking about nationwide because we have another factor. You like me, and you know that I'm a very competent person. But you know how... Thank you. I love you too. But... Thank you. But now you...
Apparently that's what gets him going there.
Thank you. That I'm a very competent person. But... You know how... Thank you. I love you too. But...
That's what gets him going. Donald Trump saying he's competent, and a crowd member saying, I love you. It's a very simple base in many ways. Let's go to this problematic suggestion. This was also from a few days ago. This is not great.
I mean, I can't stand that paper. I can't stand them. You know what you do with the Times? When you read a story, just think the opposite. They're the enemy of the people. They really... New York Times is the enemy. Washington Post is the enemy of the people, too.
I love how right now he's saying that New York Times is the enemy of the people. But when a recent New York Times poll had him and Kamala Harris tied, he's like, look, even the New York Times has me beating Kamala. And like, it's just... it's like, it's so hard to nail him down on anything. One day they're the worst. Next day, the very fair.
Don't understand it. Why? And then they lose credibility. Eventually, they go out of business. I call it the failing New York Times. But even as the New York Times recently reported, the TDA Venezuelan prison gang has, quote, sneaked into the United States among the millions of migrants who have crossed the border and is peddling drugs, guns, and women all across the 50 states, from the urban centers like New York and Chicago to Florida beaches to the once tranquil
This is a
middle
speech.
America.
He's reading
was
this off of
once
a teleprompter.
tranquil. You were once tranquil. In Colorado, the gang even got a...
What was that word? What was the way that he pronounced tranquil just now?
To the once tranquil middle America. It was once tranquil.
Tranquil.
You were once...
You were once tranquil as well.
In Colorado, the gang even got a...
Very, very tranquil Colorado until Venezuela.
Green light to shoot police officers. Did you know that the gang got the okay to kill your police? You know that, huh? By the way, that's the New York Times. That's not me. That's the New York Times saying that. They got the green light to kill your police. Just days ago, it was an amazing day. I was in a small town, Prairie du Chien, in Wisconsin. You know, we're leading Wisconsin by 4.5 points, too. Right?
It's great. Yo, whenever he says the word great these days, I feel like he doesn't sound excited about it at all.
4.5 points, too. Right? They have a similar problem. You know, almost all states have this. You know, just so we set it straight, Aurora's got a lot of publicity, but you have states that have a bigger problem than Aurora. You have that people aren't talking about. A lot of the people that run the states, they don't want to talk about it. They want to try and solve it, but they can't because they're not tough enough. You need very tough people like ICE, like military. You need very tough people to solve it. They can't. You know, you'll have a sheriff with 1 or 2 men, and you'll have 25 migrants with weaponry that they haven't even seen in some cases. No, you need help. But they don't want to talk about it because the public relations is so bad for the town or the little city that they run, or the big city. Look at Chicago, look at New York, look at Los Angeles, what's happening to it. In Wisconsin, where last month an illegal alien member of this ruthless gang was arrested for holding a mother and a daughter captive against their will and sexually assaulting them again and again and again. In Houston,
where is he getting these things from?
June, 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungari
Jesus Christ.
was kidnapped, tied up, and assaulted for 2 hours under the bridge before she was murdered by 2 Venezuelan TDAs.
This is dark.
These gang members who Kamala Harris had ordered.
Even if any of this is even slightly true, this is just incredibly dark. I can't believe he's just talking about this stuff like it's just another Tuesday. I mean, God.
Kamala Harris.
And the fact is no, I don't think that even a fraction of what he's talking about is real. It's more just sort of nonsense, Stephen Miller manufactured garbage.
Had ordered and let into the United States, totally unvetted. Nobody knew who they were, totally unvetted. Come on in, you just come on in. In New York City, another gang member recently shot 2 New York City police officers, hitting one in the chest and the other in the leg. They were really, really badly hurt, probably going to make it. And just last week, police arrested over a dozen members of...
I'm sorry, so he's concerned about one instance in which cops got hurt from a supposedly an illegal migrant. But the fact is, you don't hear any of the Republicans talking about all of the other gun violence happening as being perpetrated by Americans. I mean, you would not believe just how many times there are shootings in this country on a daily basis. It's a lot. We just don't cover them. We just don't have time. We used to do it. We just don't have time lately at all to even really talk about the gun violence in the United States. But most of it, like 99.9% of it, is committed by Americans.
The Venezuelan gang, who had taken over yet another apartment complex in San Antonio. They're like in the real estate business, like I used to be. Right? They take over a lot of real estate, but they do it by gunpoint. I had to go borrow money. I had to see the banks. This is a wonderful deal. Would you like to? But they just walk in with guns and take it over. It's much quicker. It's a horrible.
I love how he acts like he had such a hard time. Oh, I had to go to the bank. Had to go to the bank with my hundreds of millions of dollars in collateral and cash and asked them for a loan. It was very tough. They gave me unflavored coffee with powdered creamer. Donald Trump does not like powdered creamer. It's a very difficult 30 minutes.
In San Antonio and terrorized residents to a level that they've never seen before. San Antonio police very aptly named their law enforcement effort Operation Aurora, because Aurora was the one that was first and got all that publicity. Operation Aurora. In honor of Jocelyn, Nungari, Lakin, Riley, beautiful Lakin.
Oh my God.
Rachel, Morris,
they have
and
been
all
talking
the others
about
that are
this
dead.
one girl. This one girl, Lakin Riley, for like a year. It's been like, I think like nearly a year since that woman died. I believe she was an adult, wasn't she? But I mean, this is ridiculous how much mileage they're getting on this poor girl's name over all of this, when they completely ignore all the rest of the gun violence in the country. Just this sort of gross, and all too often used tactic of fear-mongering. We need emotional support. Oh God, I'm so sorry. I'm out of practice. It's been like 4 days since I streamed, okay? It's all my fault, and I'm sorry. Okay, let's see here. 18. Okay, alright, it's a Sam. And a Gary. Wait, that's not a Gary.
And or mortally wounded at the hands of migrants who should never have been allowed into our country. I'm announcing today that upon taking office, we will have an Operation Aurora at the federal level. To expedite the removals of these savage gangs, and I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Think of that.
Okay, that's really all I wanted, was that part of it. I couldn't remember where it was. I didn't write it down. But that's what he said. He wants to go back to the 18th century, invoke the Alien Enemies Act. Now, the Alien Enemies Act has not been used very many times in American history. And one of those times is this particular what do you call it? Spot on American history.
In the migration. Civilian physicians made
That being the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II.
They helped the evacuees find tenants for their farms.
Many of whom, in some cases, were actually American citizens.
This aid was financed by the government.
But just happened to be of Japanese ethnicity, and were therefore still put into internment camps along with their families. And this is basically, I believe,
provided fleets of vans to transport household belongings.
one of the last times we've used this. I think it may have also been used to throw some people in Guantanamo as well. I can't remember if they needed it for that at that point. But this is a wild suggestion from Donald Trump as to what he's saying he's going to do as a supposed solution to immigration. Hey. Let's go here. Here's Donald Trump saying, "These are the 3 things I told my children never to try." Let's find out some Donald Trump parenting advice. Some
immediately, if not sooner.
What do you call him? I can't think. Whatever.
Thanks. You know, we've known each other for a while, and I know your children and I have been just enormously impressed with their values, their lifestyles, and you did a great job raising them. How did you do that? Everybody here loves their kids, and you mentioned about creating...
I don't know who this guy is. I mean, this is at the Economic Club in Detroit. But to start it off with, like, I look at all the... I'm trying to think of how his voice is. What is this? I look at all of your friends, all your children, and they're doing so great. And I wonder how we can all... How can we... He's kind of got almost... I'm like doing... I'm trying to not do a Jordan Peterson, but he does have kind of a Peterson vibe. It's like, you know, I was just wondering if you could tell us any of your insights on parenting, Donald, after looking at all of your just fine children. Can you give us some insights?
Environment where we can pass our businesses down to our children, basically tax-free or something close to that. What did you do with your children to make them so responsible and so involved in everything that you do?
Well, I'm fortunate in that, you know, they're smart children. Many of you are some aren't so smart, and you have to understand that happens.
Sorry. Okay, now I'm gonna hold it. You know, I'm gonna hold it together. I got it. This is fine. This is fine. We're gonna get through it.
Many of you have smart, and some will have some that aren't. Fortunate in that, you know, they're smart children. Many of you have smart, and some will have some that aren't so smart, and you have to understand that happens too, and that's all, and you're going to love them just as much. But, you know, I have smart children, and they've been good academically, et cetera, et cetera. But very importantly, I would always tell them no drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes.
Oh boy. Okay. Those are the three things. No drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes. Everybody, those are the pinnacles, the three pillars of my parenting. Whoops. How did this get in here? Hey. Oh, by the way, good. Thanks for the resubscribe, Looney Tunes. Also, let me shout out other people who didn't mention. Omegastar resubscribed for 5 months in a row, just like Looney. Mo and Noah also subscribed for 5 months, and the Aaron Fly is resubscribed with Prime for his 4th month in a row. So thank you to all of you people helping keep the Galactic News Network alive. How did this clip get in here?
In this week in particular, you're not allowed to have a beer if you are a conservative. Now, if you're a liberal, you can do cocaine and you can be the president, but...
It seems like Don Jr. here is, sort of... It's weird, because I thought he wasn't allowed to drink. That was the main thing.
That's okay.
Alright, let's go to the next video. What's next? Alright, how did this get in here?
Good evening, America. I'm Donald Trump Jr. We're here tonight to talk about the great American story, to talk about this country we all love, this land of promise and opportunity.
Oh, God. You're telling me that this guy right here has never done drugs or drank before, Donald? Because that's what he was just saying to us. Is that part of his secret to parenting was that his kids have never done drugs.
Story, to talk about this country we all love, this land of promise and opportunity, of heroes and greatness. Just a few short months ago, we were seeing the American dream become a reality for more of our citizens than ever before.
His eyes are leaking. Serious. All right, let's go to a serious video. Let's go to a serious video. What's next? Obama. Wait, what is this?
Want a news show that parties?
The guys in the room here are like, oh, hey, oh, hey. Like, hey, wait a minute.
Watch Cocaine News with your host, Donald Trump Jr.
Let's see which way the wind is blowing.
Hot takes.
If Lizzo's a press, then so am I, right?
Hard drugs.
We're like, wow, it's crazy. You don't have ideas?
And all the finger quotes you can handle.
The Inflation Reduction of Violence of January 6th. I hope Trump comes. I'm going to punch him out.
Jesus Christ. All right, Obama next. Is that what's happening?
It's MSDNC, so I expect nothing less from you clowns. Even today, even 48 hours later, you couldn't wait. You couldn't wait with your lies and with your nonsense. So,
hold on. Let me just check something here. Now, normal playback speed. For a second, I thought, wait a second. Did we hit 2x for some reason? He's going a little fast for somebody who's never done cocaine in the last hour.
it's MSDNC, so I expect nothing less from you clowns. Even today, even 48 hours later, you couldn't wait. You couldn't wait with your lies and with your nonsense. So, just get out of here.
No, gay. There's Donald Trump Jr., son of Donald Trump Sr., who has apparently never done cocaine. According to his own father's advice. Just being super normal. Just being super normal, talking at a normal speed. In a normal setting. For normal people. Alright, now, if you missed it, Donald Trump, not sorry. Well, yeah, Donald Trump was criticized by a former president by the name of Barack Hussein Obama a few days ago at a Kamala Harris rally.
We're going to do something about it. That's what you should be asking yourself. Now, Donald Trump's plan is to do what he did last time, which was give another massive tax cut to billionaires and big corporations. And then, don't boo, I'm going to break you of this habit. And the reason some people think, wow, I don't know, I remember that economy when he first came in being pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good, because it was my economy. We had had 75 straight months of job growth that I handed over to him. It wasn't something he did. I spent 8 years cleaning up the mess that the Republicans had left me the last time.
I don't want reality.
He does make a strong point. Does make a strong point. Unfortunately, many of these points being made by Democrats right now are not, they're just either not reaching voters or they are not swaying voters in ways that I think Democrats are hoping for. We're going to talk more about that shortly. But before we get there, we got a few other things to do. Yeah, because we are going to look at polls, sort of state of the race stuff here. But first, we got a couple of other things. How are we doing on time, by the way? Let me look at this. 45. Doing bad. Not bad at all. Keeping pace. So let's go to Forbes breaking news again from a day ago, where J.D. Vance was asked a question about the transfer of power on January 6, 2025.
Thank you.
Senator Vance, thank you so much for doing this and for taking time to take questions from the press. No matter who wins after the election is over in November, do you commit to a peaceful transfer of power?
Yes. Of course we do. Look, look. This is very simple. Yes, there was a riot at the Capitol on January the 6th, but there was still a peaceful transfer of power in this country, and that is always going to happen. Donald Trump's committed to it, and so am
Okay, that's very confusing and convoluted. That you just said there, pal. I mean, yes, there was a riot, but also there was a peaceful. That's not the way that riots are. Usually they're not the most peaceful. At least from my particular understanding of the word riot. Maybe I should look it up. What do you think? Should we look up the word riot? Oops, it just gave me riot games. No, we don't. No, we don't need to play League of Legends. Thank you. It's also not how you spell, but there we go. Oh, weird. You know what's weird? You know what's weird about the word riot? This. Let me hold on. Let me get this even more specific. A violent disturbance. What's weird is that violent is definitely an antonym or the opposite of peaceful. So yes, there was a riot. So he's admitting that no, it was not peaceful. And then he says, but it was in fact peaceful, and it's very, very confusing for my brain.
It's science.
Yeah, okay. Well, if Ron Burgundy says it's science, I guess I better just move along and not question J.D. Vance's just sort of ironclad logic. Exactly, peaceful riot. See, you get it. I'm the person who's slow here. I'm struggling with clearly a very easy to understand concept, and it's on me. And I'm sorry for being so slow. Let me catch up. Maybe I'll catch up during this little piece where Harriet Hageman, Republican senator from Wyoming, I think, because she replaced what's her name, Liz Cheney, right? And she had some stuff to say I find fascinating, at least a certain statement in here.
Hello, fellow patriots. I'm Harriet Hageman, the lone con.
It's never a good start. Me personally, I don't. I'm not at a lot of rallies, and I'm certainly not. But if I were hypothetically at a rally, and if you find yourself at a rally where somebody starts it off with "Hello, fellow patriots," I'm not saying run out the door, but definitely at least be aware of where the exits are. You know, you may not be in a safe place.
Woman from the great state of Wyoming. I sent Liz Cheney packing 2 years ago. And in a little over 3 weeks, we're going to send her choice for president packing as well. Here in the West, we know when things are going right, and when things are going wrong. And we all know that with Biden and Harris in charge, anything that could go wrong has gone wrong. Just this week, Kamala Harris was on The View, that vapid talk show that is notorious for scraping the bottom of the intellectual barrel.
Whoa, what just happened?
But for once, they ask a good question, whether Harris would have done anything differently from Joe Biden for the last 4 years. Her answer, no way. What we're looking at for 4 years of Kamala Harris is failure after failure after failure. And her answer confirms that she isn't capable of leading this country.
Wow. Failure after failure after failure. Really, really? Okay, Harriet.
In part because of her sheer incompetence, and in part because she cannot grasp the extent of the damage and destruction she has already caused, not only in America.
Oh, she can't get anything done because she can't even grasp what she's already done. Wow, she's doing stuff that she can't even understand. Wow. Okay, Harriet. Wow.
But throughout the world. But everyone who has suffered the consequences of their bad decisions, their policies, and their hubris, we get it. and we're fed up. We're fed up with the Biden-Harris inflation that has made it difficult to...
Okay, that's enough. I've had enough of this. No. I find it fascinating that Harriet Hagman is talking about the accomplishments of other people. Now, she listed her one and only accomplishment in life, which was managing to get that look go. I'm sorry, I'm replacing Liz Cheney and the Wyoming Senate. But I tried to look at other sort of accomplishments that she's supposedly done since replacing Liz Cheney, and let's take a look at some of those real quick. Because I guess I was wrong. Oh wait, sorry, that's it. Yep, those are all of Harriet Hagman's accomplishments right there. Thank you, Ms. Hageman. It's been very helpful. She literally has not sponsored or written or even co-authored any kind of legislation. Literally the only thing that she's done since entering government is voting to stop the funding of the very government which she works for. Alright, now let's look at this. I found this to be fascinating. I don't know if you've heard this one yet, but this one's interesting, and it's probably going to get clipped later tonight if I can manage to get shit done after this stream. Here's Tim Walz speaking to a audience in Michigan here, discussing some of Trump's recent merchandising decisions.
Now look, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, they got a little different view of things. Just yesterday, Donald Trump was in Detroit, and he said, our whole country will end up being Detroit. You're going to have a mess on your hands. Well, look, I know you don't, that's not unexpected for him. That's exactly what he's going to do, tear down America. But if the guy would have ever spent any time in the Midwest, like all of us know, we'd know Detroit's experiencing American comeback and renaissance. Look, I'm a Twins fan, and you whipped our ass. We know where this is. Detroit's there, so we know. City's growing, crime's down, factories are opening up. But those guys, all they know about manufacturing is manufacturing bullshit every time they show up. Every time they show up.
Immediately, if not sooner.
Look, this guy has spent his life, Trump has spent his life talking a big game, but he has been an absolute disaster for working people. One of the biggest losers of manufacturing jobs of any American president in history. Under Donald Trump, we saw 280,000 Michigan jobs gone. 30,000 of those manufacturing jobs gone. Nearly 9,000 auto industry jobs gone. Trump's presidency was an endless string of broken promises. He actually came here to Warren when he first ran, and he promised you, under a Trump presidency, you won't lose a single plant.
Whoa. What the hell just happened? Okay.
Technically, it wasn't a lie because he lost 6 of them, not 1. So, as they fact-checked me, I got it right. He lost 6 of them. Look, he lost the GM transmission plant down the road. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. He promised to fight for union workers, repeatedly turned his back on them. He even encouraged automakers to move manufacturing out of Michigan and go to anti-union states so they could pay their workers less. There's the reason that the UAW members endorsed Kamala Harris, and your president and many of your members called him exactly what he was, a scab. All right, We all get it. Americans worry about it. He promised you he would stop the offshoring of jobs, but he cut taxes for corporations that during his presidency shipped 200,000 jobs overseas. He awarded $425 billion in federal contracts to companies that were offshoring those jobs. So some of you, this is spinning right now, you're thinking. So he gave your tax dollars to companies who sent your jobs abroad. That's Donald Trump. As a result of his trade wars, his disastrous mismanagement of COVID, at the end of his presidency, he had wiped out more than half of the manufacturing jobs that had been created in the decade before he came in. He was asleep at the wheel while China seized the advantage. And now he says we should just let China dominate the auto industry. But it's no surprise, Trump's all talk when it comes to being tough on China. Some of you heard this. We just found out his Trump-branded Bibles. Yeah, they're printed in China. This dude even outsourced God to China. So just so we know.
China.
Again, I'm going to try and be generous here. I don't blame him. He didn't notice the Made in China sticker.
I have to have my China.
Because they put it inside a place he's never looked in the Bible. So.
Oh. Burned. Burned. Tim Walz he's killing it out there. I don't know if you heard that, but yeah, the Trump Bible. That one that he apparently put the Constitution into and started selling for what I believe was like $50 a Bible. Was made in China.
China?
No, it's here's CNN from 14 hours ago. Apparently, Kamala Harris has released her medical records and is now daring Donald Trump to release his.
It's science.
New this morning, the Harris campaign is unveiling a new economic plan in a push to appeal to black male voters. The campaign says its opportunity agenda, as it is called, includes a focus on mental health and forgivable loans for black entrepreneurs. And it comes as Harris is raising new questions about Donald Trump's health and mental acuity. CNN's Kevin Liptak is with us this morning with the what and the why. Good morning, Kevin.
Yeah, and it's a relatively sweeping plan, and I think combined with her campaign travel this week, it does give you a sense of how urgently the Harris campaign views this task of trying to shore up support and enthusiasm among black men. Now, the plan is called the Opportunity Agenda for Black Men specifically. It's at its heart a plan to design...
I forgot. There's a bunch of stuff in here that's not about her medical records. Hold on. Let me line this up. Fucking CNN is always trying to get content in here that I didn't ask for. And it's annoying. It's annoying. Where's it start? Here. Right? I think it's right here.
Yeah, and this comes after she released her own health records over the weekend, a letter from her doctor. It was relatively, uninteresting. She is a healthy woman. They say that she's fit to serve. She was really doing it as a way to highlight the fact that Trump himself has not released his own health records, and she really went hard after him yesterday in North Carolina, calling on him to release his own information. Listen to what she said.
He refuses to release his medical records. I've done it. He is unwilling to do a 60 Minutes interview. Like every other major party candidate has done for more than half a century. He is unwilling to meet for a second debate. It makes you wonder, why does his staff want him to hide away? One must question, are they afraid that people will see that he is too weak and unstable to lead America?
So you really
There you have it. Kamala Harris calling out Donald Trump to release his health records, go on a 60 Minutes interview suggesting that he's a weak beta male. All right. Actually, I gotta pee, so give me 2 seconds. I'll give you something to listen to. Literally, 30 seconds. Be right back. Whoa, why does it say late night space radio? That is very strange. I don't know why it changed. You're right, it did change. It should say Moonday. It's probably something Streamlabs related, something stupid. Oh, I lost the whole description too. That's good. I'll fix it. I'm gonna fix it. Why can't I tell you? Okay. Alright, let's keep talking election stuff. Let's go here. These two fine leftist ladies chime in on this situation. One Emma Vigeland and one Francesca Fiorentini. I don't know why I'm saying things like I'm saying things. I'm just fucking with you. I'm just being weird as shit right now. Ah. Come on. Come on. Why are you being so difficult? Don't be difficult. Just be friendly. There we go.
We are back, and we are joined by my friend, comedian, host of the Bitchuation Room podcast, Francesca Fiorentini. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, what's going on? Good to be back.
Yeah.
Probably my last time before we get plunged into differing worlds of same pain or worse pain.
Hard to disaggregate that. You said you were listening a little to the interview. What are your thoughts? Like, how are you feeling right now about the race?
I was feeling bad, and now I feel less bad, which again, given the political system we have, will take less bad and feeling less bad.
Ah, yes, that old but good. I'm feeling less bad.
But yeah, I think my thing is I really actually get 2016 vibes.
I believe it was, what was his name? My brain just broke. Forget I ever said anything.
From the centrist pivot that Kamala's doing, and in a way that terrifies me, because I do feel like what finally beat Donald Trump was obviously a global pandemic, but the Biden campaign truly incorporating the Bernie movement into its fold to varying degrees of success, and we can parse that later, but you know what I'm saying? There was a real overture. And despite Biden and everything he said, and whatever Democrats say, we know that the BLM movement was, in fact, a massive reason that he won in 2020. That you look at the polling, you look at the numbers, it's like, oh, no, this is what it was, because you had, Gestapo on the streets, and you had extrajudicial killings happening, and young people were like, okay, like, don't want this anymore. So that is why I am nervous, but I am willing to concede that maybe this is more like 2012. Maybe I shouldn't be so worried. Maybe the centrist pivot will all be fine for whomever she's trying to get in Pennsylvania. That is definitely not me here in Los Angeles.
Yeah. It's extremely, it's interesting because
You can hear like the sort of the dissonance happening inside of Franny's brain there. Because of course this strategy, she's not a fan of the strategy, nor am I, nor is Emma. This sort of centrist pivot. I mean, first off, the numbers don't seem to be bearing out. But I don't even think, I'm not suggesting that's even what she's thinking right now, but I just know that, she's not a centrist. She's not looking for centrist policies, and it just makes her, and those people who watch her show or the Majority Report or this show sort of feel a little disenfranchised. Well, what the fuck is that? My something weird is happening. I don't know if there's hold on. I'm just getting really weird sounds, so I just decided to try and move some cords. Thought maybe there was like power surging through an audio cable.
There's been analyses of how the electorate has changed. Like the Obama coalition has fractured completely. And, I think in many ways, as you're saying, the Biden campaign, at least the Biden administration actually cared what Warren and Bernie had to say. I mean, a big reason why we have Lena Khan, in my view, is because Warren worked the inside game to get her in there. And Bernie, that's a huge reason why they've been so pro-union, I think. Like Bernie really was somebody that I think, Bernie Sanders and Biden are friends. Like they talk, right. I think that's part of why Bernie held out so long in terms of when Biden was dropping out. He felt like he could make some inroads with Biden in ways he couldn't with Obama. But I think the coalition's just different. And I think that based on the numbers that they're seeing when they're trying to just hyper target these high propensity voters, going for older white people, that's really what they're doing. And I haven't seen metrics that would contradict that would say that that's bad strategy, frankly. I'm worried about Michigan. I'm worried about Michigan, obviously. And the fact that she hasn't differentiated herself on Biden with Gaza. Like, what's your feeling about that as of right now? It's just crazy to see still to this day. She just isn't even taking the suggestions that I think are really strong from Pelosi, of all people. I mentioned this with Dave. Just criticize Netanyahu. That's all you got to do. I mean, we're not asking for the world here. That would be a good signal.
Yeah, and not only that, it's like we're all reading the news. I think there's this weird presumption that also very active voters, people who are definitely going to vote or are involved in the political system, emissaries of, would-be emissaries of her message, are not seeing that Blinken lied about whether or not Israel was blocking humanitarian aid and got intel from the USAID and was like, cool, I'm going to lie in front of Congress on this, and continued sending weapons to Israel. We know.
Okay. Hold on. I'm just gonna go a little bit further through this.
Zionist, it proves the point that this is not about Judaism. I mean, it's just he is a Christian Zionist, but he's he's been in Washington since the 70s. He's been just baked in Israeli lobby propaganda. And we know that Biden eulogized Strom Thurmond and has racist tendencies. So it makes total sense with his history as a politician. I mean, that's why Obama selected Biden, in part. Because he smoothed over things with the racists that were squishy about voting for a black man. And that's very much in keeping with how he's operated as it relates to Palestine. And so
I feel like a lot of people forget that's how people, like, you know, how Joe Biden even became vice president. Just sort of as this, like, reverse diversity pick.
Exactly. This is, unfortunately, because Biden did a lot of good things domestically. The infrastructure bill was no joke. I love the fact that he's been the most pro-union president in decades. That's a real thing. But this is his true legacy as midwifing one of the worst crimes in the history of humanity, this genocide.
I just realized I was on Top Chat. I switched back to live chat at the beginning of the stream. It does this. I don't understand why. It just randomly switches me back.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just glad that after so long, he was finally able to free one hostage, and that is himself. So, but yeah, it's look, not every politician was like rocked like a baby on a blanket by Golda Meir and told everything the light touches is yours. Biden was, and so yeah, Kamala is, yes, it's more of a potential to push, and my God, do we need to?
My God, do we need to? And if you would like to push and write a letter to Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, that letter template I just mentioned, Gaza healthcare letters. You can see the email, the White House. There's also a Canada letter and a UK letter for folks that are watching this in either of those countries, where you can email your leaders. But this is a template, and you could download the PDF here, and we'll put a link to that in the description.
I think there was one more part of this that I wanted to watch. This is all disheartening. I know. The fact is that American politics are pretty disheartening. And to disengage means to give up. Give it up to the people who are already... And really, I mean, at least in my mind, that's how I see it. And so, but it is a frustrating thing to focus on for great lengths of time. It can change depending on who you have running, of course, but you know, at least as of late, it's been feeling very sort of stagnant and unrewarding for people with, you know, any sort of leftist agenda or vision.
It's because in these big blue states with a lot of rich people in the suburbs, it plays with them. They don't want to think of themselves as racist, but they also don't really want to see a person who may be unhoused around the block from them. And with these states that are really have a lot of population, don't have good housing policy, and there's voters who are Democrat, but they're really wealthy Democrats, that's who they're playing for. And it's really unfortunate.
Homeowners.
Exactly. It's about property owners. And that is a big problem for the Democratic Party.
Yeah, and one that's changing, obviously, with younger representation, right? I think, was it Maxwell Frost in Florida Maxwell, hey, we are renters.
So, yeah.
But, you know, whatever. His child, he's like a neighbor, and his child is the same age as mine, and we've like interfaced. And in like November, I saw him on the street, and I was like, look, we need a ceasefire in Gaza. You got to do this. And I told him, I was like, if you ride with the anti-war movement right now, if you go hard for a ceasefire, you will have, I was like, you will have supporters for life. I'll be outside your home. And
I'll be outside of your home.
Trust me, I'm like looking him in his eye, buttering him up.
It almost sounds like a threat. Not gonna lie. I will be outside of your home. Like, I mean, she's not a threatening sort of person, but you know, to the wrong audience.
there with his kid. They're playing Raffy. I'm there with my kid. She's in her stroller, and I'm like in his face, like, you better, and he's like, that's not why I do policy. It's not for that. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't have enough money on me right now for you.
Right now.
Yes.
To
At this
convince you of
moment.
my position.
But you were also wearing that T-shirt that says "I hate Jews," so that's kind of part of why. It must have been that T-shirt. All right, let's do 5. I want to have fun. Let's just. I mean, this is easy. Making fun of Brian Kilmeade. I mean, it's good for you.
He's kind of an intellectual.
Yeah. Here he is, the professorial Brian Kilmeade.
Oh.
Talking about black voters, black men.
Professorial.
Why do they like Trump? He says. There's not a ton of data to back this up, but here he goes. This is his political analysis.
Any of that.
I thought Eddie Griffin said something interesting, and this story is on FoxNews.com. He's relatively an X-rated black, but very black comedian. He's very funny.
Black.
Watch your language here. I know, please. It says the black community. He goes. He offered a humorous argument that Trump has certain credentials the black community likes. He's got 3 baby mamas, 43 felony cases and counting.
Oh, boy.
He's selling high-top tennis shoes like Michael Jordan, and he got shot like Tupac. He goes, I'm voting for him. he goes, I'm going to try. He goes, I wouldn't be surprised if he dropped an album next.
I mean, I don't think the coach, I mean, I think he's clearly making a joke. I don't think the community cares much about that. But I do think when they continue, the Democrats have to be very careful. And if you notice, there was a huge surge of saying felon, 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 felon. Well, I thought the Democratic Party was for felons being able to vote and for a second chance. And I think there's this double speak with the Democratic Party that's going to hurt them.
I thought Democrats want felons to have a second chance. And Republicans are just doing that right now with Donald Trump, and those Democrats are just being hypocritical. It's kind of hilarious that like this is the talking point. It's like no, we Republicans don't believe in second. No, we don't believe that felons should get a vote. But geez, why are Democrats bringing up that Donald Trump is a convicted felon? It's like, huh? What are you talking about?
What you talking about? We care about the money.
Do you know how many felons there are in this country out and about? 30 million.
Okay. All right. The idea that Kilmeade had the gall to read that with a black guy next to him on the set.
Lawrence, you'll get a kick out of this. I printed out an article from Fox.com.
Does this resonate with you?
Eddie Griffin, you know that guy, Lawrence? You friends with him?
That was a bad point, though, by Lawrence. What's his last name?
Lawrence Jones.
Yeah. By Lawrence Jones, in the sense, I mean, he's making it about it's a right-wing framing, but the Democrats shouldn't emphasize some of that felon stuff because I mean, and I don't think they've been saying felon, actually. I think Harris has been more saying that, he's going to be appearing in a courtroom and things like that, because it is true that we have overly incarcerated, we're the top jailer in the world. We've incarcerated so many people for low.
I mean, yes, we over-incarcerate for the wrong shit, but we under-incarcerate for this one thing, like, specifically white-collar criminals like Donald Trump, who amass a mass of money by sketchy things, and not that that's what he's convicted of particularly. He was, convicted of using that money to unduly influence the election, but certainly a symptom of all of that. So at least in my opinion, I don't know. I hear where Emma's coming from this, right? But I would rather it be. I would rather have Kamala Harris stop talking about her tough on crime record as a prosecutor and all this other shit, and focus more on Donald Trump's crimes, because most of those crimes that we're talking about, her being a tough on crime prosecutor, was on the people we're talking about here, right?
Offenses extremely punitive criminal justice system, and feeding into the framing of, felon, disgusting, isn't helpful. But it also isn't having the effect that he's describing of like, oh, they're all going to come over, they're coming over to the Democratic Party, to the Republican Party. Just you wait and see.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
okay, here's what I say. I kind of disagree about the felon thing. Like, obviously,
interesting
abolitionist here, like, I hate all this language. I hate the carceral system, 2 million people in and out of it. But of all the things, this just sort of reminds me of like, after on Gaza, like,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, that's where she shines.
Yeah, I agree, Fran. Now, I don't know if anybody has seen this, because this is really an inside joke for myself. I don't think anybody knows this, but I do type it in chat sometimes in the Bituation room. But I can't remember what season it was. I think it was like season 20-something of Survivor. There was a contestant by the name of Francesca, and then there was another contestant by the name of I think it was Philip, and he could not pronounce her name for the life of him. Okay, and this is at least for me personally, I don't know what his particular Stop it. Why? Why are you doing this? Oh, we're back. We're back. We're back. Okay. Phew. All right. So he would this is perfect. I think this is the one. So he, for the life of him, had no idea how to pronounce her name. I mean, Francesca, in my mind, not the most what do you call it? Like exotic or difficult to pronounce names, but this guy could not do it for the life of him.
Statement she just made, because Francesca and Christina asked me to cast my vote for Rob.
That is not true. I asked you to
Excuse me, I didn't interrupt you while you spoke. I want to finish what I was saying.
Christina, did I ask her to vote for Rob? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Excuse me.
You are a crazy person.
Excuse me.
I'm going to interrupt you, Philip. I don't respect you. I'm just going to say what I want to say when I want to say it. I'm sorry.
Jeff, I'm a former special agent. So if I make a statement to you, I'll do everything I can to make sure I adhere to that. And I will not betray. I'll go down on a sinking ship before I do that until I hear something different. And I just heard something different. And so my vote tonight will be for Francesca.
Francesca. And so I am always saying Francesca whenever I hear Francesca Fiorentina. I actually hear in my mind Francesca Fiorentina.
I had a major freak out of nowhere, and it puts.
I don't know why. Don't ask me why. At one point, I think I just got deep into Survivor. I don't know how or for what reason it happened. Is the stream not working still? I see someone saying to refresh stream. If it's not working for you, I don't know. If it's not working, that's not good. Guess I can hold off momentarily. Dude, my stream sucks tonight? Wow. That's hurtful and unnecessary. Wait, it stopped and recommended a whole other video? Get out. Really? Why? Hey, hold on.
Hot right now.
Yeah, I do need to hydrate, and I need to grab myself more tea, so I'll be right back. Just did it again? What the fuck is going on? Why is it black screening? Don't understand. Alright, is this stream working? No. I mean, it seems to be. Although we lost a lot of people, so I don't know who got ejected from the stream. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we'll just continue for now. But we should talk polls, because we haven't in a while, and things are, well, I'm not gonna lie, they're not looking good. Around, what, like the end of the second week in September, right? Somewhere around, I want to say September 15th, like about a week after the first and only presidential debate, would be around the point at which Kamala was doing the best, right? And we have seen those numbers deteriorating over the last month. And at that point, things are not looking super great. Few things to look at regarding all of that, including, of course, the regular polls. Start here, CNN, I guess. Harry Enton. Oh my god, why won't this click? There we go.
There is a question here on the screen that's kind of an eternal question. Why some Democrats worry? Now, on the screen that's kind of an eternal question. Why some Democrats worry? Now, it's a trope. A lot of people will say they're always worried. But I will say, if you've been paying attention to social media or reporting on CNN, Democrats seem particularly worried now. Why? One man, as we say, has the answer. CNN's chief senior data reporter, Harry Enton, is here. So, why?
Why? What is with all of this bedwetting among Democrats? Maybe it's an eternal problem, but let's take a look here. These are, of course, the Great Lake battleground states, the states we've been focusing in on. If Kamala Harris wins these three, she most likely gets to 270 electoral votes. Take a look 3 weeks ago. Harris was ahead by 2 in Pennsylvania, 2 in Wisconsin, 3 in Michigan. Look at where we are today. The race is even tighter than it was. Today, it's a 1-point advantage in Pennsylvania, 1 in Wisconsin, 1 in Michigan. Look, that's limited movement, but in a year in which this race has been so static, if we're talking 1-point movement, 1-point movement, 2-point movements, and we see movements in all three, this is the type of thing that, at least in the public polling, makes Democrats worried, and I think that the public polling in this case is reflected in some of that.
Yeah, it's a very concerning trend, one that we've been seeing in the poll numbers, and is just getting worse, it would seem. And like I've been saying, Democrats need something to feel even slightly comfortable, to get that sort of a lead in these swing states that they need. That is more definite, is where, rather than still campaigning into November 5th, essentially, trying to, not that they shouldn't be, but like with, you get what I'm saying? With limited confidence going to November, that's not where you want to be, right?
Average across these 3 states, right? Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, an average on October 11th. What do you see? Well, if you look 8 years ago, Hillary Clinton was way out in front in an average of these 3. She was up by 8. You go 4 years ago, Joe Biden was up by an average of 7 points across these 3 Great Lake battleground states. You come today, it's just a 1-point advantage for Kamala Harris across these 3 Great Lake battleground states. So Kamala Harris, at least in the polling, is doing considerably worse than Biden or Clinton. And of course, Clinton lost in all 3 of these states, and Joe Biden barely won in all 3 of these states. So when you see Harris up by just a point across these 3, I think that this is really the type of thing that gets Democrats really to worry, John, because the simple fact is Kamala Harris is doing considerably worse than either Biden or Clinton.
Now, of course, Biden in the 2024 race, something that Harry is failing to mention here, I'm realizing is Harry Enton is like a very awkward and uncool sort of, what's his name? Oh my god, my brain just broke. He was dating Ariana Grande, right? God damn it. And Kim Kardashian too, right? Can't think of his name. But the fact is that Joe Biden was behind in the average across all 3, if I recall correctly. Before he dropped out. Pete Davidson, thank you. Yes. Harry Enton is a low budget, and I think sort of Republican-leaning Pete Davidson. Unfun. And all about the numbers. But they have like a similar... They kind of have similar features about them. Oh, God. Thank you for helping me with that. I could not remember it for the life of me. Now, let's look at this new national poll here from NBC News. I think this is Kornacki. Oh, shit. Hold on. Stream software is frozen. You heard that you heard on Pod Save America that the polls were off in 2016 and 2020. There's less error this time. But you're not sure how they know that. Yeah, okay. That could very well be true. I don't have any way of verifying that right now either. Although, certainly seems interesting. I will look into that. Wait, what the hell? Am I out of my list? Or is this not refreshed? Oh, this isn't refreshed. So I take it back. There is a Kornacki poll that we want to look at. I actually meant to replace the... Whatever, let's do this.
One thing... This will be my last question for you, Dave, and I'll let you go. What a word of caution, of course, is about Michigan and her lack of movement from Biden on the issue of Gaza. What are you hearing on the ground there? And is that a warning sign that Democrats need to heed? Because, you know, I saw she met with Arab American leaders, but no one from Uncommitted. These were people that already endorsed her, and that seems ill-advised. What's your position on that?
Well, I haven't been to Michigan in a little while, so on the ground I haven't seen it. I did talk to people there after I wrote a story about the mayor of Hamtramck, which is a Muslim city that's surrounded by Detroit, endorsing Trump. The Trump strategy, I can talk about the Trump strategy first. The Trump strategy in Michigan with Arab voters is to say, through liaison, actually Tiffany Trump's husband does some of this, hey, this war wasn't happening when Trump was president. Trump is strong. Trump is going to figure this out. How will he figure it out? We won't tell you yet. But there wasn't a war before. There is now. Vote for him. And not to go back over the last topic because we talked a lot, and also on social issues, who is more in line with your beliefs? Is it Trump who wants to ban gender identity thinking in the federal government, or is it Democrats? And they've made some inroads with that. With Democrats, yeah, the Harris strategy for months has been to say that they're working for a ceasefire and to have these personal meetings with Arab American leaders. The leaks that come out of the meetings are from the leaders, and it has, among Democrats, I've heard more confidence that they're not going to be getting more votes than they're getting right now in Michigan. There was polling by the Arab American Institute and James Zogby that found it's basically 50-50 with Trump and Harris. By their math, if they did what they needed to do in Michigan, the rest of the state, if you replay 2020, but the Arab American vote was only 50.
If I recall correctly, James Zogby was like the first guy to call for Joe Biden to drop out of the race, right? We saw him go on Democracy Now! He was, I think, like the first sort of big name to go out there and say, at least on the sort of like democratic liberal sort of ilk, if you will.
To do in Michigan, the rest of the state, if you replay 2020, but the Arab American vote was only 50-50, well then, yeah, Harris would still win the state. And so I'm not saying they've given up on the issue, but they do not see this as the determinative we'll lose Michigan over this story problem that they did a few months ago. And the other tell there is Alyssa Slotkin, who's running for Senate. She's not doing that. I mean, she's trying to keep good relations with every member of the Democratic coalition. But she's also saying Iran is a gigantic threat. I wouldn't call her hawkish because she's not out there trying to start wars, but she's not been trying to. She's not backed down at all in supporting Israel. She's not been critical of Netanyahu, etc. And so I do think in the last few months, as the war ground on, and as people got more worried here, because with that Trump outreach, if you're a Democratic activist who doesn't want Trump back and thinks he's going to crack down terribly on Muslims, yeah, that's your choice. What would happen if Trump wins Michigan and part of the storyline is blame for Arab Americans and Muslims for not voting for Harris? The record of the Democratic Party is not that they say, well, we're going to listen to you now.
Oh, of course not.
Seriously.
It would be, what if they turn out like, I remember this the days after 2020.
Seriously, though, if only, if only that was the world that we lived in right now. And we've talked about how we need to fix the Electoral College and our supposed democratic system. Unfortunately, 3 weeks into a presidential election is not the time to get into it, but the second that this is all over, we need to get back into figuring out how to make this democracy more representative of the people. Because it is too, sort of disconnected from people, certain systems keeping us in this place.
There was this immediate turn on Black Lives Matter activists to fund the police slogan existing. What if it was like that? What would happen if we get out of an election where Trump has won and the Democrats blame us for not supporting it enough, and then baby Netanyahu gets what he wants? They just really feel, one, that they're in an impossible position, and there is a sense that the Harris.
I find that hilarious. I mean, I suppose it's possible that they do that again, and it would just. I think it would full circle everything from 2016 a little too much for a lot of people.
Campaign has gotten what it can from Arab American voters. The worst things possible have already happened in Gaza. I don't know. I was like laughing so I don't cry, but let's say that. But
yeah, right.
Every day there is more horror coming from Gaza, and the war is not over, and Biden has been ineffective in trying to get a ceasefire. So I wouldn't say they're throwing their hands up. They're just saying, this is it. We're going to maybe lose Dearborn and Hamtramck. Where else can we win? That is more how I see Democrats talking about this. I do want to get to the state to
Yeah, but that is true. I think to some degree, that sort of cynical, calculating stance, I think, is partly what is causing people to be somewhat displeased with the Democrats. Certainly one of the reasons. The fact is, Democrats sort of tout themselves as being of the people, but then when something goes wrong, they blame it on the people. They don't listen to the things that the people had been complaining about during the elections. And it's just sort of, it's basically gaslighting. It's pretty frustrating, I think, to most people. And we really need, we honestly need politics that respond to people's concerns rather than dismissing them. All right, now let's go to what I'm pretty sure is a Kornacki piece here on NBC. Oh my God. Why do you refuse to be my friend? There we go. Oh God. Is it frozen?
23 days until Election Day, and both former presidents...
I fucked up. I totally forgot that I was editing this because I was trying to make it so we could do shorts today, but I was trying to get all the actual shorts out. So instead of having a shorts stream, because yes, that's right, you heard me right. I'm trying to bring the shorts stream back. Because the fact is we need to get this channel monetized by the end of October. This channel's where it's at. We got 16 days, 129 subs to go. And I just need to do whatever we can to make it happen. I don't know what else to do. Just gonna continue to double down my efforts on things. Just gonna catch up at any point. This is bad. This is bad. Not what I wanted. I guess we could do this. This isn't really the vibes that we usually do. This is not the vibes, and it also does not have the ESCs. All right, there we go. There we go. All right.
Trump and Vice President Harris are on the campaign trail almost daily now.
We have some hard work ahead of us, but we like hard work.
This is a new NBC News national poll of registered voters shows the presidential contest deadlocked at 48%. The poll shedding light on the gender gap between the candidates, Harris ahead with women by 14 points and more men supporting Trump by 16 points. The vice president in battleground North Carolina, speaking from the pulpit of a black church in Greenville, launching a new black voter initiative, Souls to the Polls.
At an early age, I learned that faith is a verb. It is something we show in action and in service.
Later at her rally, laying out her agenda and challenging her Republican opponent.
I do believe Donald Trump is an unserious man, but the effects of him being back in the White House would be brutally serious.
Trump in Arizona tonight after rallying in California on Saturday. The candidates also drawing attention to their medical records, with Harris's doctor on Saturday saying she's in excellent health and has the, quote, physical and mental resiliency to be president.
Ooh,
Harris has criticized Trump for not releasing detailed medical assessments. His campaign...
Resiliency. There's a word I don't feel like can be used for Donald Trump or former presidential candidate Joe Biden.
Harris has criticized Trump for not releasing detailed medical assessments. His campaign responding with his doctor's letter from last year and saying he's in perfect health.
Aaron is joining us now from Greenville. Aaron,
I could have sworn there was a Kornacki part of this, and I'm like losing my mind right now. Straight up losing my mind. Okay, no big deal. I guess we'll just get into the polls all just raw directly in. Yes, there's that. Whoa, what did I just do? No, don't do that. Yes, this. Yes, this. Come on. Okay. Polls. Huh? Okay. Let's see here. Here's the national polls. Kamala Harris 48.5. Trump 46.1, which is a 2.4 point margin. She's down 0.2 points for the month of October. Essentially flat since the debate. At one point, she was up slightly more than she was here. 3.3 was, I think, the most she had in the average. Let's go to Arizona, where Trump is still ahead. At one point, Kamala did have a teeny tiny lead, but since back here, I guess, yeah, since September, basically for a month and a half, Donald Trump has been holding. In Arizona, currently 1.5 points up, gaining a half a point since the presidential debate. Here's Georgia, where Donald Trump is still up here as well, up 1 point. Where actually Kamala Harris was up in September, at least the beginning of September. But on the night of the debate, Trump was already up at 0.8 before the debate even happened. So he's really only gained 0.2 since debate night. But since September, over the last month and a half, he is up by, almost 2 points in Georgia. But technically here, let's see, 95 points here, so there's like 4.5 percentage point of voters that are apparently still undecided. All right, here's Michigan, where it's even tighter. 0.7 for Kamala Harris. 47.8 to 47.1. Having lost over a point since the beginning of October. 1.9 back here, October 1st. So she's lost 1.2 since then. At one point after the debate, she was up nearly 3 points. So she has lost 2 points since then. It's not good. Basically is the closest it's been since back here, where Trump was actually ahead, which was really basically, I mean, this is July 26th. I mean, Joe Biden dropped out of the race, what, July 21st? So she was really just sort of pulling with Joe Biden's numbers at that point. But this is not a good trend right here. Whoops, why did I just click that? Son of a bitch. It's not bad. Sorry, chat. This is my fault. I clicked the wrong thing. Whenever Captain Planet, Sam, and Gary are all showing, it looks concerning. What, like they're starting some sort of boys club? Some sort of a leftist boys club? Sort of like an inclusive leftist boys club. God damn it. Why does my stream software or Streamlabs? Remember when it used to be good? I remember. I've honestly been considering switching back to OBS just like the original. But then you lose a bunch of features. I don't know. Fuck it. We can't do it this way, right? This is too much. This is ridiculous. But you can see who's ahead in Nevada here right now. I guess we could do this. I mean, it does make it easier to see the numbers, doesn't it? Alright, Kamala Harris is only up 0.5 point. It's razor thin margins here in Nevada. Although that's technically 0.6. I don't know what the math is there, but it says 47.7 to 47.1, but it also said 47.7 to 47.1 here. And yet you can see that the data slightly changes, just a teeny tiny bit. So, whatever. Either way, she has not been doing great in Nevada. She has been holding a lead here for quite some time without really losing it, aside from a teeny blip here back on the night of the debate, before the debate happened. That's where the numbers were at the time. Since the beginning of August, don't even have September, so the last month and a half, she was at 0.5. So she is stuck, essentially where she was here. That's where she is now. Meaning that Nevada is in a very precarious spot for Democrats. Really, I mean, this whole race is up in the air right now as to what can happen. Which really, what's the word? Makes more apparent and clear just how much Democrats need to work on messaging and drawing people in rather than sort of doing this sort of... Because the fact is they're going to draw more people in from talking about actual leftist policy and doing this centrist shift that they keep talking about that's supposed to bring in the undecided middle. But I don't see that as being the strategy. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. What was I doing? North Carolina. Okay, 1 point here. North Carolina. Trump winning in basically most of the Sunbelt states. Pretty much all, aside from Nevada. I think Nevada's in some. Pretty sure that counts. October 1st here, 0.6. So Donald Trump has actually gained half a point since the beginning of October. Back here, on the night of the debate, they were tied. So he's up a point from back then. I mean, back here, he had a 1 point lead. So, you know, Kamala had made some ground up a couple of times in here. But as you can see, this lead seems to be getting just bigger and bigger, and not as much back and forth as there was back here, right? Back when Kennedy was in, back here throughout September. You can see that this entire month is Trump has been up in North Carolina. All right, let's go to Pennsylvania. Incredibly tight, 0.7 points. Which is slightly up. This is one of the only swing states where Kamala Harris is up from where she was at the beginning of October. Here's where she was at the debate, so she's actually up from back there too, but down slightly from September, the beginning of September. But she has at least been holding ground here to some degree. It would be nice to see her back here where she was up 1.7 or 1.9. But she is still ahead in Pennsylvania for now. As you can see here, a lot of work for Democrats to feel even slightly comfortable going into into election night, which is only, what, 21 days from now? Is that right? Okay, so Kamala's up 0.7 here in Wisconsin, which is not good because she had maintained a very comfortable lead here in Wisconsin, and this seems to show the opposite of that. She's lost 3 points since the beginning of September, practically. I mean, at one point here, she was 3.7 points here on August 21st. 1st of September, she was at 2.9. Right now, she's at 0.7. That's not good. If you don't want Donald Trump in office, well, you better get out your, what do you call it, your canvassing hat especially if you live in a swing state. I mean, my God, these numbers are much too close going into an election, less than a month out. The fact is if I think a second debate would have really probably shown people what they needed to see. But right now, we're left with, in many of these swing states, 4% of people not decided yet. Razor thin margins. And less than a month to go. And really no more big presidential events to happen between now and November 5th. The fact is since Democrats are in power right now, Kamala's in office right now, she does have the opportunity to do things to make an impact on this in office. Now, I don't know what that's going to be. I can't, if I were pressed, I'd struggle to give you an actual answer to that on what it would be that would push the undecided. I would say perhaps saying that we would condition aid to Israel on a realistic and non-bullshit basis without the bullshit in there, right? Sort of just saying on a reasonable, not even radical sort of condemnation of what Israel is doing, and saying that in her administration she would differ from Joe Biden on this particular thing. But the fact is, she's, I think, from what I've been saying for a while now, ever since she entered the race as the presidential candidate, she's going to struggle. And that has just been true, unfortunately, in terms of her being able to distance herself from the Biden administration and being able to state clearly what she's going to do differently from the administration. And that is not good, because there's a lot of people right now who are not happy with what the Biden administration's done. And before the Dana Bash interview, at that point, I was really hoping that she would be able to come out and do that succinctly. That has not come out to fruition. And in fact, I think, her having said that recent, I don't have the clip in front of me, but I think most people heard it. But when she said she wouldn't do anything differently from the Biden administration, I think that is part of what has suppressed the vote for her recently, right, in the recent weeks, because that only came out, I want to say, like a week ago. I think that's what's part of it, right? It actually may have been a little more than a week ago. But point stands. It is the epitome of this problem. Where are we at on time? Shit. All right, we're going to take a quick break. All right. Well, going to take a quick space intermission here. I hope everybody's been enjoying the show so far. If you haven't already, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Once you've done both those things, do consider becoming a Galactic patron or donating to the Galactic News Network in one of the myriad ways we have set up for you to do such a thing. My recommendation is, of course, to become a patron on Patreon, as it's also the way to get the most galactic benefits out of your galactic dollars. Alright, chat, enjoy this intermission. Grab yourselves a drink, perhaps a snack, and I will be right back. Okay. Sorry about the delay there, folks. I'm back. Yeah. Back in my seat here. Okay. Alright, chat. Time to get the second half of the show going here. Cat, it's sad. It's sad with cat bopping with no music. You're right. Just realized I don't have Twitch open. Gotta have the Twitch open. Sometimes Streamlabs doesn't tell me when you all donate, and then I feel bad not knowing that you have donated. Why does it say I've only been streaming for an hour? Is it really gonna cut up the stream tonight because of that disconnection we had? Oh, there's a bunch of people in chat I didn't say hello to. Pendulous Dragon. I feel bad. I also didn't have multi-stream chat on, so I didn't see what's going on there. Okay. Does the cat have a condition? I believe it's called boogie fever. Okay. Let's go. Let's do a couple of things here before we get into environmental stuff. Well, I guess we can hold off on these. These are old. Let's just go to this one. France 24. From 2 days ago, apparently Boeing is planning on cutting 10% of its workforce.
Help! Help! I'm being repressed!
Why is the sound doing these things to me? This is killing me. Is anybody else hearing it? Or is it just me that keeps hearing it cutting in and out? Because it's really bugging me. Oh my god. It's doing it again. Why? I hate to say it, but I might have to end the stream just because it's genuinely bugging the hell out of me. And I can't tell if it's going to ruin the quality of the stream at the end of all this. This is very frustrating. Am I hearing static? No, what I'm hearing is the audio cutting in and out, doing some weird stuff. That sounds like maybe a power cable is getting too close to an audio cable somehow and causing some kind of interference. But it's bugging me. And it's bugging me a lot. Although now it's stopped. So I'm going to keep trying. But if it starts again, I'm probably going to end it. Because it's really bugging me. Because then I can't even hear what's happening. It's just very... You just heard some clicking. Oh, well, that was me unplugging and plugging my microphone back in. So that makes sense. Let's do this Boeing story real quick. Hopefully all that's solved.
17,000 jobs will be cut globally. Delays in the delivery of its 777X jet.
Okay, take two.
Jet amid record losses of 17,000 jobs will be cut globally. Delays in the delivery of its 777X jet amid record losses of $5 billion in its third quarter. Boeing's new CEO, Kelly Ortberg, who has only been in the post since August, unveiled the changes on Friday.
Restoring our company requires tough decisions, and we will have to make structural.
Seriously? What is going on? Okay, I swear to God, something fucked up is happening. I have no idea what it is.
Structural changes to ensure we can stay competitive and deliver for our customers over the long term.
These announcements come as 33,000 workers have been on strike in Seattle for a month. They are demanding an increase in salaries and pensions. As a result, 2 of the group's main factories have completely shut down, and thousands of employees are on furlough. Subcontractors, suppliers, and service providers are trying to survive the collapse of their orders. The company is heavily in debt, which has stemmed from a series of failures of its 737 MAX and concerns over safety procedures. The company could suffer a future downgrade in its financial rating. The American aircraft manufacturer would then risk slipping into a junk credit rating.
Okay.
Elon Musk made
the sound sound seems to be acting fine now. Not sure why it decided to start working. Not really clear. All right, let's see what's up with Elon Musk here and Tesla.
Stage at the Warner. Elon Musk made a big entrance late Thursday. He rolled towards the stage.
Oh my God! All right, this is too many. This is too many. Everybody, go watch NCC. I think she's still streaming right now. There's too many problems. Now I can't even click over. This is bullshit. I give up. It's a sign. It's a sign. It's too many. It's too many times. It's too many times. I'll stream tomorrow again for a normal amount of time. For a normal amount of time. But I gotta do some stuff today anyway. And somehow try and get all this stuff working on the stream software. I have no idea why it's acting up as much as it is right now. Although I do know one of the reasons, and I can fix it pretty quickly. But I have to literally, turn off the software to do it, which ends the stream. well, we kind of got through another one, I suppose you could say. Either way, it was a pleasure hosting all of you tonight. We shall see each other again soon, so do not worry. Till then, stay classy, Galactic Stream Nation. Can't forget this. These are your galactic patrons. Gabby, Golf Dogs, Aaron W, Schmegley, PB, Mitty, Afroponics, Narwhal by Nature, Interplanet Janet, Technopuck, Robot Cat, Disco Wolf, Calibrating, The Anti-Corporatist, Obsessive Audio, Mona Whip, Nadia, Choky, Mrs. Jen, Omega Star, Sasha G, Pitchfork Dragon, Vincent Morales, and Donald James X. That's right, all these people here helped produce the show which your eyes and ears just got done enjoying. You can too for just $3 US a month on Patreon.
I'm staying in the race.